The goal of our group is to establish a best practices team so that the MIIS community can voice their ideas in order to, for implementing cost savings, time efficiencies, and streamlined technologies. This could be done, for instance, this could be one individual who could allocate his or her time, 20% of his or her time, to solicit and troubleshoot problems, and then set up a committee based on what the problem is at hand. Membership in the best practices team would be revolving depending on what the problem is. Some of the areas that could benefit from a best practices team are current administrative procedures at the Institute that are outdated, not cost efficient, and very time consuming. The establishment of a Monterey best practices team would enable the MIIS community to come up with solutions in order to cut paper and labor costs, to increase the quality, not the quantity of our work, to free us from outdated, inefficient, and time-consuming procedures, and to fully utilize the intellectual power of our staff, faculty, and students. We would now like to show you a short movie that illustrates the administrative burdens of our heroine, Frustrated Fran, and how the best practices team enabled her to voice her ideas, to free her from those outdated and time-consuming procedures, and to fully utilize her intellectual power. We apologize for the quality of the movie, but it's short, and here it is.
Here we are with Frustrated Fran, starting yet another fun-filled day of paperwork at the Monterey Institute of International Studies. And here's her boss.
Brenda, where are the fund allocation sheets? What have you been doing for the last 2 hours? And all day Wednesday and all day Thursday? I have here only 23 sheets. And you know we have...
I emailed everybody.
Brenda, you know we have 100 employees, so you still have to input 76 more sheets. And what is this? What is this? This is fund allocation sheets without signatures. Brenda, you know the procedure. Without signatures, we put the form on the pink sheet, the pink one, and then once you input it, you put it on the yellow sheet. And the salmon sheet, well, you know what the salmon sheet is for. Brenda, you need to hurry up. I need to get this to payroll, and you have all those other travel forms to input later on, and we really need to hurry up.
Okay,
and
I'm gonna get back
I will be back in 30 minutes, and I need to hurry home to my strudel.
Okay.
Hurry up.
My goodness, there's got to be an easier way. There's so much paperwork, not enough time. Why can't we move into the 21st century?
Now you can, Frustrated Fran, with the Monterey Institute Best Practices team. Are you ever overwhelmed with paperwork? Do you feel helpless? Do you feel trapped by procedures? Are you using your brain to push paper? Do you have ideas for improving the way we do things at the Institute? If you have an idea for improving the way we do things here at MIIS, call the MIIS Best Practices team.
I have an idea. MIIS Best Practice team, do you have an idea for improving the area of the Institute? Invest in this project and make the MIIS Best Practice team a reality.
Excellent. 3 months later, we see the results of the MIIS Best Practices team.
Brenda, now that we have implemented the new procedure, we are so much more efficient, and we are finally on time with the fund allocation.
Wonderful.
Brenda, let's go have some strudel.
Oh,
come on.
let's do.
Please cast your vote for the best practices team so that the MIIS community can move towards its goal of academic excellence and time-saving procedures, sustainable financial vitality, and global excellence. Thank you.
We have a few minutes. Just one of the things there are a couple of things that I think could benefit from an efficiency analysis. And those of you, I don't know if any of you don't fill out fund allocation sheets, but those of us who work at CNS, 100 of us, every pay period we fill out a sheet of paper indicating where we're going to allocate our time, Department of Energy, Department of State. So we have to fill it out, print it out, fill it out, get our signature and a supervisor's signature. So that's 100 people times 2 signatures, 200 signatures. People in Washington, D.C., people who are traveling in Vienna, wherever. And those sheets have to be turned in. And then all that data is entered by hand into yet another database, which takes a person a couple of days. And then it's uploaded yet into another different database, Banner, so that it can be processed. It just seems like, one could come up with some sort of an online way of capturing that data from the beginning, instead of having to print out paper and fax paper from Washington, D.C., and get paper from people in, in Vienna or wherever they are, and re-entering it over and over again. I mean, another, efficiency I could see is going to reimbursement based on per diem. Right now, when we travel, as most staff and faculty do at the Institute, we have to save every receipt for every taxi cab and every, coffee or breakfast. And if you're traveling in 3 or 4 different countries, you come back, you have to staple each one of those in order and then do the conversion. And so you end up with a stack this big to get reimbursed. And it seems like there must be a better way. And it takes, Bill Potter travels a lot. And when he comes back from the trip, it takes him 4 or 5 hours, which if you bill at his hourly rate or any of our hourly rates, it's quite expensive. So those are just a couple of ideas that we had.
It sounds great, but why fund it per se? Why is this? Is it so that one person can set aside time, or that?
Because somebody needs to kind of. Oh, go ahead.
What we were thinking is maybe come up with build a database or a program, install a program so that we could do it electronically, that people can fill out the timesheets electronically, and also that it could be uploaded easier or combined with Banner. Right now it's not compatible with Banner at all, and the total process every 2 weeks takes 4 days.
Are there existing databases that exist at other institutions that interface with Banner, or that at least take some of the steps out of the process?
We tried 2 or 3 different softwares that or services that you could use free for months to see if it would be compatible. We have not come up. It has not worked so far.
Have you checked with Middlebury on that one about what they use for that?
Middlebury initially thought that they could allow us to allocate our time using Banner, but then Jay said no, we couldn't do that because we have like 40 different funds. It's just not compatible. You have to hire a software engineer.
Kenny, I thought your idea is not really the solution to the specific problem that you just raised. It's actually a process. It's a structure that collects best practices, right?
That's right. So it's not just the fund allocation sheets or the reimbursements. It's that I think all of us have ideas for improving processes here, and what we're suggesting is that there be a person or a standing committee that would kind of receive those ideas and be empowered by the administration to go and be kind of a neutral party and go between the business office and HR and the other departments and figure out what might be a better solution.
So you're proposing a structure, a team,
or a person.
Okay.
Like some percentage of a person's time to gather ad hoc committees based on whatever the task at hand is.
And then the investment from the administration for this is basically that person's time.
Right.
Okay.
And
maybe software that needs to be purchased to solve that specific problem.
Right.
So they're collecting ideas.
Yeah.
And
No. Once you collect idea and you are implementing a solution, then you might require to purchase some software in order to...
Right, that's a problem-specific solution, right? It's not the best practices team is set for, right? Best practices team is collecting ideas.
Well, it collects ideas and then it also implements it. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It seems like, for instance, talking about the fund sheet issue, it seems like the person who has the problem is facing the mounds of paperwork should be the one who is very involved in making a change rather than someone outside of.
Yeah, that's the idea. The idea is bottom up. So the person working with the problem knows how to solve it or has idea of how to solve it.
Right.
So then he or she would contact the MIIS practice team and suggest ways to improve or ask for help on how to improve that.
You might want to, I have a 2-paragraph little article about Chomp and what they did in this respect. They had, I don't know if it was a hotline or a team or what, but they had all of the employees submit ideas for cost savings. And then if the cost savings came through, 50% of the cost saving was shared with all of the employees. And so there was a lot of motivation for people to get cost savings. And I can't remember, but I think they saved $2 or $3 million over the course of a couple of years implementing the ideas that employees came up with. So
That's another paradigm. That's a couple of